Morning, all. All right, so we're going to talk about the 2007-2008 National Hockey League season, one which saw Montreal finish atop the East, and out west, Detroit still number one. So in the East, it is Montreal, 104 points for them that season, a record of 47, 25, and 10, 262 goals scored, 222 goals against. They're captained by Saku Koivu. The Pittsburgh Penguins, 47, 27, and 8, 102 points, 247 goals scored, 216 goals against. They're captained by Sidney Crosby. The Washington Capitals, who are right there tied to Pittsburgh, 94 points, 43, 31, and 8 record for them, 242 goals scored, 231 goals against. They're captained by Chris Clark. The New Jersey Devils, 46, 29, and 7 that season for 99 points, 206 goals scored, 197 goals against. Both Elias and Langenbrunner wore the C that year for the New Jersey Devils. The New York Rangers finished 42, 27, and 13, so 97 points, 213 goals scored, 199 goals against. Jaromir Jagr is the captain in New York. The Philadelphia Flyers, 42, 29, and 11 record, 95 points, 248 goals scored, 233 goals against. Jason Smith, the captain in Philadelphia at the time. Ottawa, 43, 31, and 8 record, 94 points, 261 goals scored, 247 goals against, I should say. And Daniel Alfredson, the captain in Ottawa. The Boston Bruins, 41, 29, and 12 record, 94 points, 212 goals scored, 222 goals against. Zdeno Chara is the captain there. Carolina misses the playoffs by 2 points that year. They finished 43, 33, and 6, 92 points, 252 goals scored, 249 goals against. Rod Brind'Amour, the captain in Carolina. The Buffalo Sabres, 39, 31, and 12 record, 90 points, 255 goals scored, 242 goals against. Brian Campbell, Jochen Hecht, Tony Ludman, Jason Pominville, and Yaroslav Spacek all wore the C that year for Buffalo. On the Florida side of things, they were 38, 35, and 9, 85 points, 216 goals scored, 226 goals against. Olli Jokinen, the captain in Florida at the time. Toronto, 36, 35, and 11 record, 83 points, 231 goals scored, 260 goals against. Matt Sundin, still the captain in Toronto. The New York Islanders, 35, 38, and 9 record, 79 points, 194 goals scored, 243 goals against. They're captained by Bill Guerin. The Atlanta Thrashers, 34, 40, and 8 record, 76 points. So 1 year as division winner and then right back out of the playoffs. 216 goals scored by the Thrashers, 272 goals against. Bobby Holik, the captain in Atlanta. Tampa Bay, 31, 42, and 9 record, 71 points, 223 goals scored, 267 goals against. And they're captained by Tim Taylor. We called him the Tool Man because shared the name with the Home Improvement character, of course. Out west, as mentioned, Detroit, first overall, 54, 21, and 7 record for 115 points, 257 goals scored, 184 goals against. Nicholas Lidstrom, the captain there. San Jose, 49, 23, and 10 record, 222 goals scored, 193 goals against for the 108-point season of the Sharks. Patrick Marleau, the captain at this stage in San Jose. Minnesota, 44, 28, and 10, 98 points, 223 goals scored, 218 goals against. They are captained by Pavel Demitra, Marian Gaborik, Mark Parrish, Brian Ralston, and Nick Schultz. All of them wore the C at some point during the season for Minnesota. Some teams do the rotating captain. Anaheim, 47, 27, and 8 record, 102 points, 205 goals scored, 191 goals against. Chris Pronger, the captain in Anaheim. The Dallas Stars, 45, 30, and 7 record, 97 points, 242 goals scored, 207 goals against. Brendan Morrow, the captain in Dallas. Colorado finishes 44, 31, and 7, 231 goals scored, 219 goals against, 95 points for the Avalanche. Joe Sakic, still the captain. Calgary finishes 42, 30, and 10, 94 points, 229 goals scored, 227 goals against. Jerome McGinley, the captain in Calgary. For Nashville, they finished 41, 32, and 9, so 91 points for them. 230 goals scored, 229 goals against. They're captained by Jason Arnott. Just below the playoff line sit the Edmonton Oilers, 41, 35, and 6 record, 88 points, 235 goals scored, 251 goals against. Ethan Morrow, the captain in Edmonton. The Chicago Blackhawks, and this was a year where you could see Chicago was improving a lot, and you could tell they were going to be very dangerous very soon. 40, 34, and 8 record for Chicago, 88 points, 239 goals scored, 235 goals against, in a season where they go without a captain. Of course, Jonathan Toews is going to be the captain there soon. Vancouver, 39, 33, and 10 record, 88 points, 213 goals scored, 215 goals against. Marcus Naslund, the captain there, and that was the season that Vancouver had a playoff spot basically sewn up and then just couldn't win down the stretch. A lot of people blame Luongo. It got ugly, and Vancouver misses the playoffs. The Phoenix Coyotes, 38, 37, and 7 record, 83 points, 214 goals scored, 231 goals against. They are still captained by Shane Doan. The Columbus Blue Jackets, 34, 36, and 12 record for 80 points, 193 goals scored, 218 goals against. Both Adam Foote and Rick Nash wearing the C that year for Columbus. The St. Louis Blues finished 33, 36, and 13 for 79 points, 205 goals scored, 237 goals against. Eric Brewer is the captain in St. Louis. The LA Kings finished last in the West, 71 points, 32, 43, and 7 record, 231 goals scored, 266 goals against. Rob Blake, the captain in LA. So the salary cap rises that year from $44 million to $50.3 million per team. And already fans are asking, so what was the lockout for? Because in 2 years, we'd gone from a $39 million cap to $50.3 million in salary cap ceiling for every team in the league. So it felt like the players had already got back to where they were prior to the lockout destroyed season of 04-05. The Board of Governors discuss expansion. They also discuss scheduling, and that they're not happy about the unbalanced schedule. So they're trying to do something to fix that. And here we are, it's 2024, and the schedule is still something they could work on, I think. But at any rate, yeah. So expansion's on the horizon, but nowhere near yet, of course. We're only at 2008. It would be 2017 before we would see the Vegas Golden Knights hit the ice. February 26, 2008, the trade deadline was relatively eventful that season. Atlanta trades Marian Hossa and Pascal Dupuis to the Penguins for Colby Armstrong, Christensen, and Angelo Esposito also in that trade. Angelo Esposito, a player who was hyped up a lot during his draft year and then was drafted much later than expected and then just never hit at the NHL level. So again, on February 26th, Tampa Bay trades Brad Richards and Johan Holmquist to the Stars for Mike Smith, UC Jokinen, and Jeff Halpern. Brad Richards, of course, would sign an expensive contract with Dallas that would tie him there for a while. Also, on February 26th of 2008, the Habs trade Cristobal Huet to the Capitals for a 2009 second-round draft pick. So, Cristobal Huet, decent goaltender. I don't think I've ever done a career video on him. Maybe I should. The Art Ross that year goes to Alex Ovechkin. Ovechkin had himself quite the season. Was a huge part of the reason that Washington got a lot better that year. The Masterton goes to Jason Blake of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Calder goes to Patrick Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks. The Conn Smythe goes to Henrik Zetterberg of the Detroit Red Wings. The Selke goes to Pavel Datsyuk of the Detroit Red Wings. The Hart Trophy goes to Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals. The Jack Adams goes to Bruce Boudreau of the Washington Capitals. The King Clancy goes to Vinny Lecavalier of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lady Byng goes to Pavel Datsyuk of the Detroit Red Wings. The Lester Pearson goes to Alex Ovechkin of the Capitals, and Alex Ovechkin also wins the Rocket Richard Trophy that year. A lot of hardware for Ovi that season. The Vezina Trophy goes to Marty Brodeur of the New Jersey Devils, and the Jennings goes to Dominic Hasek and Chris Osgood of the Detroit Red Wings. And if you don't want me to talk about Chris Osgood, and the fact he's not in the Hall of Fame, this is not going to be a video you're all that happy with. But he should be in the Hall of Fame. So the All-Stars that year, up in at center, first line center, Evgeny Malkin for Pittsburgh, second line center, Joe Thornton of the San Jose Sharks. On the left side, Alex Ovechkin of Washington, first team, and Henrik Zetterberg of Detroit, second team. On the right side, Jerome McGinley of Calgary, first team, Alexei Kovalev on second team, him playing for Montreal at that point. On the defense, Nick Lidstrom of Detroit and Dion Phaneuf of Calgary, first team All-Stars. This was that big year for Dion Phaneuf. On the second team, Brian Campbell of the Sharks and Zdeno Chara of the Boston Bruins go on to the second team. On the in net, I should say, Evgeny Nabokov of San Jose's first team All-Star and Marty Brodeur of New Jersey is second team All-Star. So as mentioned, Ovechkin does win the Art Ross that year, plays all 82 games, 65 goals, 47 assists, 112 points. So 65 goals, pretty impressive. After a 46-goal season the year before that was seen as somewhat disappointing. Evgeny Malkin for Pittsburgh, 82 games, 47 goals, 59 assists, 106 points, showing that when Crosby's hurt and out of the lineup, he can be the guy. And Malkin has shown that numerous times throughout his career. Jerome McGinley in Calgary, 82 games, 50 goals, 48 assists, 98 points. Pavel Datsyuk in Detroit, 82 games, 31 goals, 66 assists, 97 points. Joe Thornton in San Jose, 82 games, 29 goals, 66 assists, or 67 assists. Also, 29 goals, 67 assists. That's 96 points, isn't it? Yeah, it should be 96, not 97. At any rate, Henrik Zetterberg that season for Detroit, 75 games, 43 goals, 49 assists, 92 points. Vinny LeCavalier in Tampa, 81 games, 40 goals, 52 assists, 92 points. Jason Spezza in Ottawa, 76 games, 34 goals, 58 assists, 92 points. Daniel Alfredson in Ottawa, 70 games, 40 goals, 49 assists, 89 points. And Ilya Kovalchuk rounds out the top 10, 79 games, 52 goals, 35 assists, 87 points. So Ovechkin, Kovalchuk, and Iginla being the top goal scorers that year in the National Hockey League. In net, Nabokov leads the way in wins, a record of 46, 21, and 8, 9-10 save percentage, 6 shutouts. Marty Brodeur, 44, 27, and 6 record with the Devils, 920 save percentage, 4 shutouts. Mika Kiprasov in Calgary, 39, 26, and 10 record, 906 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Calgary probably overplaying Kiprasov a little bit at this point. Henrik Lundqvist with the Rangers, 37, 24, and 10 record, 912 save percentage, 10 shutouts. Cam Ward in Carolina, 37, 25, and 5 record, 904 save percentage, 4 shutouts. So we get to the playoffs, and in the first round, conference quarterfinal, of course, Dallas beats Anaheim 4-2. So that destroys Anaheim's hopes of repeating as Stanley Cup champions. Colorado beats Minnesota 4-2. San Jose beats Calgary 4-3. And Detroit beats Nashville 4-2. Out east, the Rangers beat the Devils 4-1. Philadelphia beats Washington 4-3. Pittsburgh sweeps Ottawa in the first round. Montreal beats Boston 4-3 because it's a bad matchup for Boston. In the conference semifinals, Dallas beats San Jose 4-2. Detroit sweeps Colorado, so not really a huge surprise there necessarily. Detroit making quick work of the Avs. Pittsburgh beats the Rangers 4-1, and Philadelphia beats Montreal 4-1. So not very much going on in the way of tension in those conference semifinals. I mean, it's a 6-game series between Dallas and San Jose, sure, but outside of that, they're all 5 or less. Conference finals, Detroit wins both games at home against Dallas by scores of 4-1 and 2-1 respectively. Detroit then goes into Dallas and wins 5-2 to go up 3-0. Dallas does fight their way back into it. First with a 3-1 win at home, then they go to Detroit and win 2-1 before losing at home 4-1 to lose the series in 6 games. Out east, it is the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh wins both games at home, both of them by scores of 4-2. Then goes into Philadelphia, wins 4-1, so it's a 3-0 series there. Philadelphia gets on the board with a 4-2 win, and then Pittsburgh rounds it out with a 6-0 win at home. Authoritative, and they win the series in 5 games to set up Detroit and Pittsburgh. And what we didn't know at the time was this is the first of 2 straight finals that will feature these 2 teams. Detroit wins both games at home, scores of 4-0 and 3-0, so they made it pretty clear they were not going to be denied. Pittsburgh then wins at home 3-2. Detroit wins in Pittsburgh 2-1. Pittsburgh wins in Detroit in triple overtime 4-3 to keep themselves alive. And then Detroit goes into Pittsburgh and wins 3-2 to win the series in 6 games and win themselves the Stanley Cup. Zetterberg, 2 goals and 4 assists for the Detroit Red Wings. Brad Stewart, a goal and 4 assists. And Datsyuk had a goal and 3 assists for the Wings. Chris Osgood belongs in the Hall of Fame, 930 save percentage. For all of the hoopla about Hasek when the rubber met the road in the playoffs, it was Osgood who was the goalie of record for the Detroit Red Wings. Hasek at this point older and a little more injury prone than previous, and so Osgood steps in and does what he does and just wins himself another Stanley Cup. So again, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, I think he does. On the Pittsburgh side of it, of course, Marian Hossa, 3 goals and 4 assists, and famously he would then go to Detroit that summer. And we will discuss how things turn out, but of course there was a famous meme born out of Hossa chasing the cup, which would end when he went to Chicago. That ruined the memes. Thanks, Chicago. Crosby, 2 goals, 4 assists. Malkin had a goal and 2 assists in that Stanley Cup Final. And Marc-Andre Fleury, a .923 save percentage as Pittsburgh falls just short. Pittsburgh will be back the following season, though, to face those Detroit Red Wings again. So there you go. The 2007-2008 season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.